Now in this lecture, I'm going to show you a good useful website in terms of OpenAPI specification. The website is openapi-map.apihandyman.io. So the same website details I have mentioned inside our GitHub repository also. Like you can see, this is a OpenAPI map with the URL details. So if you click on that, you will be redirected to this web page. So how this website is going to help you is, whenever you have some question about the structure of the OpenAPI specification, what are the mandatory elements, what are the structure that I have to follow whenever I want to define some request body or response or parameters or paths. So your question can be anything. You can always come to this website. You can quickly check the OpenAPI specification structure visually. So I'm going to show you that in few seconds. And this website has options of both 2.0 and 3.0 version. So since 3.0 is the latest version and the same we are discussing inside this lecture, let's try to explore the 3.0 version. So if you see here on the home page, you have a small dot here. Like if I zoom further, you can see this dot with the name OpenAPI 3.0. So if you click on this dot, you will get an map saying that, so these are the root elements of OpenAPI 3.0. So the very first root element that we have to define is OpenAPI, followed by info, servers, paths, component, security, tags, external docs. So these are all the root elements. And of course, we are yet to discuss about component, security, tags, and external docs. So don't worry, we're going to discuss them. But the beauty, if you see here, all the mandatory elements are highlighted in red color. And if one of the element has further details inside it, you can see the circle filled with color. Like this is an empty circle without any color. That means this is just a simple element. Whereas if you click on the info circle, you can see it is further showing the information related to the info object, where title is the mandatory, description, terms of service, these are optional, and same for version is mandatory. And inside each layer, you'll be seeing this X hyphen. So using X hyphen, we can define our own custom tags at each level. So we're going to discuss that in the coming lectures. So that's the purpose of X hyphen. For now, please ignore that. And further, if you drill down inside contact, you can see here contact has name, URL, email, and same for license. You have a name which is mandatory followed by URL. So if you click on that again, it is going to close that object details. So let me close this info. Similarly for servers also, since it has a circle with a filled color, this indicates it has more information inside that. So for servers, URL is the mandatory element, followed by description and variables. And now coming to the interesting element, which is paths. If you click on that, it is showing here every path has to start with a forward slash followed by what is the path value. So if you click on this circle again, you can see you will get a very big map description starting with summary, description, and for each HTTP method, you can see there is an object. So let me click on this post. So if you click on this HTTP post, you can see we can mention the tags information. We are ready to discuss about the tags, so don't worry, we are going to discuss that. We can mention the summary, description, operation ID, parameters, request body, response. So if you click on this, any of this request body and response, you should be able to see what is the structure that we need to follow. First, we need to mention the optional description and followed by content, whether it is required or not. So under content, you can see you have to mention what is the media type. And once you define the media type, you can use a schema. Using schema, you can define your objects. And after schema, we can also define the examples or example using these keywords. We're going to discuss about examples in the coming lectures. So this way you can explore the entire OpenAPI specification structure at any point of time. So I would always recommend you looking at this whenever you have some question, and based upon this structure, you can always understand which is mandatory, what are the structure that you need to follow. And apart from this map object, you can also see what are the deleted properties inside 3.0 compared to the previous version. So like we were discussing previously, the root element that we used to have in 2.0 is Swagger. Since later on it is acquired by SmartBeer and they donated the specification to the open source community, they renamed this root element to OpenAPI. So that's what you can see what is the deleted property, what is it is replaced by. So all those details you can see, and you can also click on this documentation to read the official documentation around it. And very similarly, you can also identify what are the new properties that are introduced as part of 3.0. So this way you can always use this website to refer to the OpenAPI specification structure. I hope you found this as an interesting and useful website. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.